You know, it's incredible how fast time flies. In just about a month more, we're gonna reach the halfway point of 2024. And yet, here we are, still hoping to find the right mobile game that could get us hooked, especially on the go. The mobile gaming market is huge though, so there are always games coming out monthly. Which is why today, we're back with another roundup of 10 new mobile games available on our Android and iOS devices for the month of May 2024. So without further ado, let's get to it. Starting off with number 10, we have Flame of Valhalla. Flame of Valhalla is an MMORPG that puts players into an enchanting open-world realm of Asgard, where the world tree Yggdrasil has been shattered by a cataclysmic event, scattering fragments imbued with sacred energy across the cosmos. In the game, players embark on an epic Nordic fantasy adventure, exploring a vast open world teeming with realistic weather dynamics and nice-looking landscapes. Gameplay-wise though, the game has autoplay feature and has pay-to-win elements, but that's to be expected from mobile MMORPGs, so there's kinda no surprise there. But the graphics and visuals are quite decent though. You will have 5 gender-locked classes to choose between: Knights, Mage, Archer, Warrior, and Astrologer. Although you are able to rotate the camera, the game is set and locked in an isometric perspective where your camera view would always be from above. Moving on to number 9, we have Light of the Stars. This is a gacha game currently available in the US, Canada, and UK, where your role is to be the commander of team of heroes. It's a blend of idle RPG and tower defense where you set up your own team and strategically deploy them to positions where you think are effective to win each match. It's basically like a medieval warfare, where your troops and your enemy troops will march towards each other with a common goal of winning the battle. You can also choose your gender at the start of the game, and you'll be greeted with a really nice storyline that explains the game's lore. In Light of Stars, players embark on a journey to save the world plunged into chaos and darkness by endless wars and calamities. You, as a child of the Solar King, will lead a team of heroes representing constellations, each empowered with special abilities. I actually find this game fun. The visuals, music, and storyline are also really good in my opinion. In addition, the game is generous enough to give you a free 10 times summon token every now and then. Next up at number 8, we have Zombie State. Zombie State is a first-person shooter game that immerses players in a thrilling post-apocalyptic world teeming with undead horrors. Blending first-person shooter action with roguelike elements, players utilize characters' unique abilities to survive relentless zombie assaults. With a diverse arsenal of weapons and equipment to unlock, each mission becomes an opportunity to bolster strength and outsmart mutated foes. I've actually had a good time playing this game in my spare time. I mean, this is a really good time killer game in my opinion. Although this game doesn't really require a lot of skills as it just auto-fires as soon as you aim at the enemy, it can definitely give you a decent thrill to kinda immerse yourself in a post-apocalyptic setting. Oh, and this game is surprisingly popular. I mean, it just came out recently, but take a look at their download count on Play Store alone. It already has reached over 500,000 downloads. Quite interesting, really. And number 7, we have Greed Game. This one is basically a battle royale that uses sword and magic set in a medieval world of knights and mages. Greed Game is a PvPvE dungeon crawler where you assemble a team or go solo to explore treasures depth filled with both untold riches and formidable foes. You engage in intense PvPvE combat, battling monsters for their loot and equipment. You choose from various classes and tactics to craft a unique combat style, balancing the rewards as you invest in gear and props for each adventure. Well, there's not really much I could say about this game as it seems to be made for casual gamers who are only looking for games to kill time, but I can definitely say it's decent. It's simple, but can be very engaging. The graphics and music also add to the game's appeal. The environment when you're in a dungeon also feels good in my opinion, you know, with all the ambience contributing to the immersion. Sitting at number 6, we have Warfare 1942. Warfare 1942 puts players into the heart of World War II, offering historical battlefields, weaponry, and uniforms. There's also not much I can say about this game other than it's a third-person shooter set in a World War II era with some, usual shooter game modes like deathmatch, but it's really a great game to pass time or if you're just, simply looking for new third-person shooter game to play. Moving on to number 5, we have Super Dragon Punch Force 3. This is a retro arcade-style fighting game that gives you some street fighting and Tekken style of gameplay. Super Dragon Punch Force 3 is a dynamic free-to-play fighting game that offers fast-paced 1v1 battles and a diverse roster of unique characters. It doesn't really matter if you're new to fighting games or a seasoned pro, because the game promises a thrilling and simple combat experience. The game has multiple modes such as PvE, where you get to fight with AI opponents, or PvP, where you can fight other players in real time and climb the leaderboard. It also seems to offer cosmetics, which you could use to make your character a little bit unique. You could also have a private match with a friend, which is great if you'd like to spend some time playing with friends. In addition, it also features cross-platform support between PC and mobile, and controller compatibility. It's quite a nice game if you ask me. Next up at number 4, we have World Eternal Online. This game describes itself as a new game at the intersection of RPG, MMO, and MOBA. In the game, you descend into the world of Althea in a battle royale kind of setting where you'll have modes to choose from such as PvE, PvP, open area bosses, and hero collection. The game is set in isometric perspective where you will have a clear view of what's happening around you. It currently has 2 game modes to play. There's Hunt mode, where you compete with other players and defeat as many monsters as possible. In that game mode, you're gonna have to do your best to steal the first rank by collecting stars that monsters drop when you defeat them. The second mode is Extraction PvP, where you are transported into the battlefield with other players to hunt each other. This game is actually pretty fun in my opinion, but since it's quite new, bugs and optimization issues are to be expected. Sitting at number 3, we have Summon Dragons 2. Summon Dragons 2 is a gacha game that's kind of a combination of a kingdom building game and idle RPG where you build a team of dragons to confront enemies in each stages. In the game, players embark on an epic journey from a secluded ocean plot to become a legendary dragon lord. As you build your dragon sanctuary, summon powerful dragons, and recruit skilled trainers, you will explore dungeons and instances, each requiring strategic lineups and tactics. You customize your island, nurture diverse dragons with unique abilities, and equip them with exclusive weapons to conquer formidable foes. The game is actually quite rewarding and constantly gives you free diamonds you could use to summon new dragons to add into your dragon arsenal. It's an okay game in my opinion, but although the game is generous in its reward system, it can also be very expensive as it seems to only give free summons for basic and epic tier dragons. Down to number 2, we have Solo Leveling Arise. Now, some of you might already know this, but solo leveling has just gone global, which means we can all now enjoy this accelerating action RPG developed by Netmarble. This game is probably the best ARPG to have come out on mobile in the first half of 2024. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you guys who are watching this video are already aware of how good the solo leveling manhwa was, right? And we are now able to relive its world where gates, hunters, and monsters exist. Now, there's a lot to be said about this game, but I'll leave that to those who are experienced reviewers you can find on YouTube. But really, the action and combat in this game, not to mention the storyline, are all great. It's not a perfect game though, of course, and there's also some negative aspects about it, but it's new, and the developers are constantly working on making the game better. So I guess we'll just have to see how it goes in the future. Nevertheless, Solo Leveling Arise is one of the best options when it comes to the action RPGs out there for mobile. Finally, at number 1, we have Dark and Light Mobile. Now, some of you guys might have already heard of Dark and Light, a PC game that was quite popular about half a decade ago. Snail Games, its developer, remade the game and added cross-play compatibility as well as newer looking graphics and a different storyline. Dark and Light Mobile is a survival video game that immerses players in a vast open fantasy world full of mystery and adventure. In the game, players must face powerful enemies and discover the secrets hidden in the world of Gaia, while forging alliances and exploring breathtaking landscapes. Dark and Light describes itself as a vast sandbox survival game set in a world dominated by powerful elemental forces, where you must fight mythical creatures, craft gears, shelters, and weapons to survive. You can get your own permanent territory in this huge land and build your own home. In addition to that, you can also tame monsters and get them to become your mount or pet that could help you fend off enemies. I've actually played this game for many hours, and I'm quite impressed by how stunning the game is. Although it is of course not perfect and most definitely not for everyone, it's still a decent online survival game that can easily grab your attention and make you spend hours of playing. Alright gamers, that'll be all for this video. You know, I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe like what most YouTubers typically do, but I'd like to let you know that there are other games to be discovered if you look at some of my other videos I have on the channel. So feel free to browse my channel page. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. You guys have a great day and have a happy gaming.